So let's create here a mini Spring Boot. JDBC demo, and we'll put it on com.jdbc. Why are you complaining here? Oh, let's try to log in. Oh no, I recently changed this. Crap. Did it work? I don't know if that worked. Okay, I'll leave it there. All right, so let's create a demo JDBC project. Let's go in there and let's add maybe web. Probably I want JPA in there. An embedded database. Let's finish that. Okay. Let's update the Maven. Am I recording? Yes. Let me update the project. And let's see if this blows up. Let's run the app. Run as Java app. Okay, so it looks like it ran. It's not really doing anything. Since we want to connect to MySQL, we need we'll need the library for MySQL, and I never remember what it is. Let me look it up. I think it's Maven MySQL Java connector, and I think it looks something like that. I'll just copy that. So I'm going to add that to the POM so that it will download the library to connect to MySQL. So let's add that to the end here. And I think the version that I want is 45. Let me see. Let's or actually, isn't there like a runtime version? Yeah, this one's the one I wanted. The one right before version 6. Yeah, 5.1.45. Yep. Let's see. Let's update this. Let's make sure that I still am up and running. Update. And let's make sure that, let's see, what's this connected to? Demo, yeah, okay. All right, so we'll need also a database to connect to. I'm going to connect to a database I've already set up on AWS. But we'll need the URL of this AWS database. You could use the one that you've set up for the project, the second assignment for the project. You were asked to set up a database, a remote database, correct? So let me go fetch one. I think I have it here. I think it's this one. Let me see. Okay, and the URL here's the URL, and I've also connected it through my SQL Workbench, which now is busy here. Let me kill it. I think it's stuck. Let me reopen that. Workbench, there it is. Yeah, so this one is connecting to that particular one. Tests, Spring, blah blah blah. And so let me see if I can log in. I believe it's this. I think that's right. Okay, all right. And there's a couple of tables here. There is a hello table. There's a movies table. This movies table, we can take a look at it. It's got a couple of columns. It has an IMDb, has a title, plot, poster. Right. So let's see if we can connect to this. Right now, let me see what's in there. What's in there? Let's execute it. And it didn't work. Wait, what? Why are you not connecting? Am I connected? AnyWave? Yeah. Well, let me see if I can connect to it through jdbc. Let's go back here and in STS in the main here. Let's use jdbc to try to connect through to that. All right. So let's see. What do we need? We need the to load the library. And I believe it's class dot for name. I believe it's com dot mysql dot jdbc dot driver. I believe that's right. Let me rerun this, see if it's if it blows up. Oh, okay. I need to put this inside of a try catch, so I'll do that. Add the try catch. There we go. Let me rerun it. See if it finds it. Okay, it looks like it didn't complain, all right, that it found the class. Otherwise, it would have thrown an exception saying that it couldn't find that class. Now that we have it, we can ask for a connection. Let's declare the connection here, connection. And if I hover over it, notice it gives me a couple of options. It gives me java.sql and com.mysql.jdbc connection. See that? Right, so the one we want is the interface. We don't really care who the implementer is, right? That's the vendor who's implementing this. Also a Spring version of this, right? We want to compile our code against the interface, not against the class that implements that interface, right? I mean, they both would work, but yeah, the whole idea would be that you want to be independent of the vendor. Okay, so we'll choose the java.sql, and that now it has imported it. Very good. So now we have the connection. We have the URL is that long URL. So let's try and connect to it. We'll say connection driver manager dot get connection, and it's asking for the URL. For the URL, we're going to put in that really long, this one right here. We'll put that in. There we go. Oops, I think all right, broken into toString. Okay, there we go. There we go. Plus, we'll need the username and password. So the username is me. And as password, I changed it to something I didn't care if you knew. Okay. Right. And one more thing that we need to do here is that we need to tell it what the protocol is. The protocol will be based on the vendor. Each vendor will have a different protocol, right? So that it will know which driver to load depending on the protocol. Right, so this will be, I think it's jdbc :mysql ://. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Semicolon. And the driver manager itself throws another exception, so we're going to just add to the catch clause. There we go, a SQL exception. If it wasn't able to connect to the database, right, it'll throw an exception. All right, so let's see. Let's make sure that the last thing we do is to close that connection. That close. Right. Notice that close itself throws an exception. Right. So we need to add a try catch around it. There we go. All right. So let's just run this to see if it can connect. Otherwise, it'll let us know. So let's restart. All right, so it looks promising. All right, it didn't blow up. Let's see. if we can we can create a statement out of this. Let's load statement. And here we can say statement equal connection dot create statement. Right? We have a statement, and let's execute a statement. Let's see. We can say string that the SQL that we want to execute is select star from movies. I think that's the name of the database. Oh, no, actually no. We need to put here at the end the database, the schema that we want to connect to. Right. So we want to connect to. Let's see. What's it called? I think it was called test underscore spring 2018 underscore Annunziato. All right. So we'll do that. Test underscore spring 2018 underscore Annunziato. Okay. Notice that the fact that I need to put in the driver here and the fact that I need to put the protocol here, it's kind of defeating the purpose of JDBC being vendor independent. Okay, because this is certainly vendor specific, right? And this is vendor specific. So ideally, this would be configured outside of the class, right? Either as a properties file, an XML properties file, right? That could be read dynamically, and the infrastructure would pass those in as arguments, right? And then your code would become more independent. We'll talk about that. There's typically to achieve that, you would use data sources, right? The pooled version of these connections, but we'll talk about it in a minute. So here's SQL, and let's actually execute this. We'll say statement dot execute query, execute the query. There we go. SQL, and what's this connection? Oops, did I load the wrong statement? Connection. Oh, I chose the wrong one. Careful, don't choose the wrong one. You want the interface. Okay, so let's fix that. This is Java SQL, not com.sql. Okay, that's the statement we want, not the implementation class. We want the interface. Okay, there we go. All right, so we have the statement. We have the movie. So now we're going to execute the movie. The SQL will need a result set to catch all those, right? Result set results. And we'll just grab it here, results. And we'll have to load, make sure we grab the Java SQL, not the other one. There we go. Okay, now that we have the results, right now it's pointing to the before first, right? So we're going to start iterating over that. So we'll have, we say while results dot next results dot next. So that advances the cursor to the very first row. So even if this is one single row, if you know this is a single record that comes back, you still need to do the next. You won't be pointing to that record until you do that next. So typically, if it's one record, maybe you're looking for an individual and you have their user ID, and it comes back with a unique username. Yes, unique user. You would still put it inside of an if results.next, right? And then it would advance the cursor, right? And it would only execute if that returns true, meaning there's only one record. Yes. And then you would fall out of that if statement. Okay. Okay. So this is results next, and here you would start retrieving the title of the movie. So this would be results dot get string and then title. So these names, right? The title and the name of the movie and the name of the table are taken from the schema, right? The name of the table and the name of the fields. Okay. And so we'll grab that. We'll grab a couple other things. We'll grab the IMDb ID. We'll grab the plot, and we'll grab the poster. And we'll grab it here, plot, and the poster. And we'll just display it now. So system.out.println. So we'll say title. Let's just print the title for now. So let's run this. And hopefully this doesn't blow up. Okay, so it came back with some data here, some title, GG title. I guess I was playing around with data in there. So yeah, so definitely we're connected to a database, and I don't know why Workbench is not connecting here. Can I? What is going on? Why can I not connect? And it's stuck. It's I can't force it to quit. I need to force it here. Workbench. Why are you not connecting? So this is the right password. Password. Word. And the tables. Let me close everything. No, I don't want to save that. And select. And no, nothing comes back. Where is it putting the results? Where are you? And then it gets stuck. Huh. Oh well. All right. I guess we'll use jdbc to interact with it. Must be a network thing because I was able to connect to it earlier. All right. So there we go. So we have this this query that we've implemented. Ideally, we would not if we need to connect to this database and retrieve this, right? Ideally, I'm not going to rewrite all this. Ideally, we would put it in some kind of function that I can reuse it. So ideally, it would be maybe in some class that deals with all that has to do with connected to a database. And there's a design pattern that is specifically that deals with this issue, right? You know, how is it that you organize all the data access? So to do that, we're going to create another class, and we're going to call it. We're going to say class. We'll put it in a different package, and we'll say. So this deals with movies, and we want to access the data, so we'll put it inside of a DAO. Actually, there might be multiple DAOs, so we'll call it JGA DAO, and then movie. And in here we'll put movie DAO. Okay. So in here's where we're going to put all the functions that might deal with the database. So not only retrieving all the movies, we want to be able to create a movie. We'd like to be able to find a particular movie. We'd like to be able to update a movie. So all that code that we wrote earlier, ideally we would put it in here. Something like public void find all movies. Right, and then we can copy all that content. Right, we can copy all this content and move it over there. Right, and just paste it in here. And now from this demo application, let's see. From this demo application here, we can presumably instantiate movie DAO, new movie DAO. And then from here I can say DAO dot find all movies, something like that, right? Okay. So if we run this, hopefully it'll still work. All right, there it is. So it's working. Now, one thing is that this might not be the only place where I might want to access the information. Right? It might be from many different places in my application. I'd like to be able to access the data. And it would be unfortunate that I need to instantiate new of these DAOs every time I need to access the data, right? So another design pattern that is very common with implementing DAOs is using singletons, right? There's only one instance of these DAOs across the entire application, right? And everybody shares the same instance, right? As opposed to instantiating it over and over. So let's add that. Let's convert this DAO into a singleton. Oops. So one way that we can do that is to maintain a public instance, right? The instance that we are going to be using, public static movie DAO instance, that initially is null. And then what I'd like to be able to do is get a hold of this instance, right? So so something like public static get a movie DAO get instance that would return the instance, right? And so that would work. The only thing is that I would want to disable even the option of somebody instantiating this, right? So for instance, we would make the constructor movie DAO, we would make it private so that nobody could actually instantiate this. The only way to get a hold of this instance is to go through the static method, right? Obviously, somebody has to instantiate it at least the very first time, so the get instance could check to see if instance is if it's null, right? That means that we haven't yet instantiated the very first time, so we'll instantiate it. And since we are static, we have access to the local private constructor, so we can say instance new movie DAO. Right. There are a couple other ways of implementing the singleton pattern, but this is a good enough way to implement the singleton pattern. So now that we have that, notice that I like to be able to. I can no longer, right? If I go back to my original jdbc demo application, notice that my constructor is no longer available, right? It's complaining. So instead, what I would do is that I need to go through the get instance method, right? And the get instance method will get a hold of that one instance. And anywhere that I want a hold of that one DAO, I can always use that get instance. So throughout the lifespan of my application, I'm only ever using one instance, right? There are a whole bunch of other design patterns we might want to consider. For instance, I might not even want to instantiate or deal with this, right? I could convert it into a component and have it injected into me, right? So I'm not even responsible for the life cycle, right? Somehow the infrastructure is, and we'll look at that a little later. Anyway, let's see if this still works. Well, we need to save this. Okay. All right, so recompiled, and it runs it. Hopefully it works again. Okay, so that worked. All right, so let's all right, so we got the beginnings, right, of a DAO and some very simple connection of finding all the movies. Let's start adding features to this, and also some level of abstraction. For instance, instead of just printing it out to the console, ideally I would want some kind of data model, right? That some object that maintains these things. So let's do that next.